It is time now for Nine's afternoon news.
Good afternoon. For the third time in just over a year, France is in a state of mourning. The country targeted in yet another terror attack. This assault came on a day of national celebration, Bastille Day. An 18-tonne truck travelling at 100 kilometres an hour ploughed into crowds of people along a 2-kilometre stretch of the seaside promenade in the city of Nice. Here are the main points of information. 84 people have been killed, including a number of children. Dozens more have been injured. 3 Australians trying to flee the scene received minor injuries. The Department of Foreign Affairs is working to determine if any other Australians have been caught up in the chaos. After reportedly firing a pistol into the crowd, the driver was shot dead inside the truck. Guns and ammunition were found packed inside. French President Francois Hollande has extended the country's state of emergency for another 3 months, and Islamic State has reportedly claimed responsibility. Reporter Jane Azzopardi is in the Nine newsroom for us now. Jane, officials have been working at the scene all through the night in Nice. Where are authorities at with the investigation so far?
Well, Deb, we are expecting to hear from those investigators in the next couple of hours to learn what they have determined so far. Bastille Day, a huge day of public celebrations. There were lots of people, hundreds of people and families gathered on that promenade, and the driver has taken aim at them. Let's have a look at a map that we can show you now to show you just the extent of this damage. There it is, the promenade. You can see where the truck driver has claimed his first victim. He has then travelled before he was brought to a stop. We know now that 84 people have died. That number has been rising. Truly tragic. The amount of devastation that one man and one truck has managed to cause today.
Absolute shock. Jane, thanks for the very latest. And as Jane mentioned, 3 Australians in Nice have been injured. Foreign Minister Julie Bishop says our government is urgently trying to determine if any more Australians have been caught up in the attack. Reporter Lauren Ginoli joins us now from Canberra. Lauren, the Prime Minister has also sent his sympathies and condolences to the people of France.
Yeah, he has, Deb. Good afternoon. Malcolm Turnbull has been briefed on this attack, and he spent part of the day speaking with our ambassador for France, Stephen Brady. And the advice from DFAT for Australians in France at the moment is to go about business as usual, but to exercise a high degree of caution and to listen to local authorities.
Really important information, Lauren. Thank you. As the people of France come to terms with what has unfolded, the rest of the world is reacting to the attacks. In the United States, the President has condemned the actions of the gunmen, while other politicians throw their support behind those affected. Nine's Lizzie Pearl reports from Los Angeles.
Now, there is no word on whether the terror threat levels here in the US will be raised in response to this attack in Nice. However, the conventions are just about to get underway. On Monday, the Republican convention kicks off in Cleveland. There was already going to be tight security there, so now, no doubt, it will be even tighter.
Still to come on Nine's afternoon news, we speak to a top terror expert about how the devastating Bastille Day attack could have been prevented. Plus, all the rest of the day's news, including clinging to hope. The family of a missing mother believes she's still alive as police declare her disappearance suspicious. And yet another iconic Aussie business is struggling. Which tyre company has gone bankrupt? As the world is rocked by yet another terrorist attack, more questions are being raised about our international terror climate and how to stop the carnage. Security expert Neil Fergus joins us now in the studio. A terrible attack in France, but it could have been so much worse. This truck was laden with explosives and ammunition.
It's quite possible they had some other objectives in mind than actually what unfolded.
And whether or not this was an isolated attack or if there was more of a strategic plan involved.
Yep. French authorities knew that they had received credible reports from Turkey of a couple of operational cells in Europe. It remains to be seen, of course, whether this was one of those cells or not. But they've been on high alert for a long time, and they've thwarted a number of attacks. Just a tragedy that this one has been able to occur, and in such circumstances.
We know that ISIS is encouraging all of its supporters to use whatever means possible to cause maximum carnage. In recent times, is this the first time we've seen a truck used in this way, obviously targeting soft targets as well?
First time we've seen an articulated truck like this. ISIL, and including the other group, Jabhat al-Nusra, which is an offshoot of al-Qaeda, urging their supporters to carry out these types of conventional or low-tech asymmetrical attacks. Some quite barbaric stuff. And it's confronting not just Western Europe, it's confronting Australia and other parts of the civilised world.
And we have lessons to learn too.
We absolutely have lessons to learn. Yeah.
Neil Fergus, thanks so much for your insight.
Pleasure.
To other news now, and the family of Melbourne mother Karen Rostevsky is hopeful that she's still alive despite being missing now for more than 15 days. As Kieran Jones reports, authorities now believe her disappearance is suspicious. He's a household name in the Australian tyre business, but now Bob Jane has fallen on hard times. He's filed for bankruptcy, claiming he has just $15 cash left. The former race car driver is being pursued by the tax office for $105 million. Still ahead on Nine's afternoon news, the child recovery team being held in a Lebanese jail gets bail. All the details next. The gloves come off in the race for US President, how children are being used to sway voters. And Prince Harry's groundbreaking move to embrace a cause very close to his mother's heart.
Remember, you can still catch up on the day's news even on your way home.
So if you're stuck in traffic, listen to 9 News, simulcast on River 949. One of the men involved in a Queensland mother's custody fight in Lebanon has faced court. Ebony Cavallaro joins us now with the latest. Ebony, what happened in court? All right, Ebony, thank you. In the US presidential race, Hillary Clinton has campaigned alongside high-profile Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, fueling speculation that he could become her vice president if she's voted in. It comes after the release of a new attack campaign against Donald Trump, Clinton using the faces of children to slam the billionaire. Prince Harry has been tested for HIV live on Facebook as part of his campaign to remove the stigma surrounding the virus. One activist has hailed the Prince's involvement as a groundbreaking moment in the fight against HIV. After the break, France wakes to the horror of another terror attack. What you need to know about the latest tragedy. Plus, stolen puppies. Who snatched this pair of Siberian Huskies from a Melbourne pet store? And Barry helps a first-time winner bring home the Archibald Prize. It's now early morning in France and people there are waking up to the devastation of yet another terror attack. The weapon this time a truck used to mow down crowds of people celebrating Bastille Day. In other news, police are appealing for the group of men behind a brazen daytime dog theft in Melbourne CBD to come forward. Let's go live now to reporter Laura Spurway in Melbourne for us. Laura, some good news at least. One of the puppies is now back at the City Pet Store. To breaking news now, and a manhunt is currently underway in Brisbane's north after 2 men stormed a jewellery store armed with an axe. It's currently not clear if anything was stolen from the business on Sandgate Road, but 1 man was assaulted. Police say they are still searching for the weapon and the 2 men. Let's get a quick check of the weather for you now. Right around the country with Livinia Nixon. Livinia, it has been cold. What's the very latest?
Hi Deb. Well, parts of Queensland have been absolutely drenched today. A deepening trough is drawing moisture to central and coastal regions with falls between 25 and 75 millimetres from Rockhampton up to Innisfail and extending inland to Longreach. In 24 hours to 9 a.m, 72 millimetres fell just south of Townsville, with more to come this evening and over the weekend. It's been much calmer in Tassie today after gale force winds battered the state yesterday, and although showers have eased, a major flood warning remains in place for the Huon River, with melting snow adding to the levels. And in WA, a strong cold front in combination with a trough is bringing rain and strong winds to the southwest coast. Over the weekend, those showers will extend to Perth, where up to 40 millimetres is expected in the city gauge. Today it was a little grey in Brisbane with low cloud and some drizzle in western suburbs. It reached 19 degrees. Sydney enjoyed lovely blue skies with just light winds, 18 degrees. And Melbourne had a few glimpses of sunshine, but it was generally cloudy, up to 14 degrees. Deb, I'll have the weekend forecast a little later.
We'll see you soon, Livinia. Thank you. Still to come on 9 News, he's called Hillary Clinton a sadistic nurse and compared Vladimir Putin to a house elf. How is the world reacting to Britain's new foreign minister? Plus, a hockey player reunited with the goalie who saved his life. The Hawks arrive home flying on top of the ladder after beating the Swans in a nail-biter. And State of Origin shake-up. Find out where the NRL is taking the game next. Right now, though, here's a look at what's happening in tonight's News at 6. There have been mixed reactions from global leaders to the appointment of Boris Johnson as the UK's foreign minister. One US official appeared to stifle a laugh on hearing the news during a media conference, while the French Foreign Affairs Minister has called him a liar over the Brexit campaign. Taylor Swift has shaken off her ugly Twitter war with former boyfriend Calvin Harris with the help of some retail therapy on the Gold Coast. The pop princess headed to a local fashion boutique for an after-hours shopping spree, as Nine's Brittany Klein reports. Mark Macgugan joins us now for a look at all of the day's sport. And Mark, it's a good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Deb, and we'll start with some AFL where Hawthorn has arrived home from Sydney 2 games clear at the top of the ladder following a gutsy 5-point win over the Swans. Adam Scott and Matt Jones are the best placed Australians after the first round of the British Open at Royal Troon. World number 1 Jason Day struggled to hit the greens in his opening round and is way back, tied for 94th at 2 over. So that's sport, Deb. Plenty to do for the world number 1 if he's to get back.
Absolutely, Mark. Thank you for the very latest. And that's where we'll leave our Gold Coast viewers. Your local bulletin with Bruce Page and Wendy Kingston is at 5:30, right after Millionaire Hot Seat. For the rest of us, we are live to London as Europe wakes to the full devastation of the attacks. And Australia stands by France. All the details on vigils planned here for the victims of the terror attack. Plus, in other news, caught on camera, the man accused of murdering a pub patron in a hit-and-run attack downs 21 beers. And a huge spout of water cracks a Sydney footpath. Many Australians who witnessed the horror in Nice have described scenes of chaos and confusion in the aftermath of the attack. Sean Gorman from Sydney took refuge in his hotel room.
It was a very terrifying time. It was very confusing. We just were following the crowds. We were definitely running away from the truck, but then there were other crowds running in the opposite direction. So there was like a period of time there where we were just kind of unsure where to really go, so we were just kind of looking for anywhere to kind of hide in case of anything happening. But yeah, it's just going to be a matter of kind of waiting it out, I guess.
This is Nine's Afternoon News. Today's top story, the Bastille Day terror attack in Nice. 84 people are dead, scores of others injured, including 3 Australians. Our government is working with consular officials to help the Australians who are caught up in the attack. And signs of solidarity right across Australia, with a vigil set to be held in Sydney tonight. The people of France are waking up to a sense of horror following the latest terror attack to rock the country. Here's what has happened. At least 84 people have been killed, including many children, after a truck travelling at 100 kilometres an hour ploughed through crowds of people celebrating Bastille Day in Nice. And Islamic State has reportedly claimed responsibility. Jane Azzopardi has been following the developments. She joins us now. Jane, French investigators we know have been working at the scene right throughout the night in Nice. What's the very latest?
Well, Deborah, as we speak, the sun has risen in France, and I want to show you pictures of that truck that we got into the newsroom just moments ago. You can see the investigators pouring over that truck. And as you said, the state of emergency has been extended in France and the world is in a state of shock.
Yeah, a lot of solidarity for the people of France right now. Jane Azzopardi, thank you. And right across Europe, many are only just now waking up to news of the terror that has unfolded in France. Nine's Mark Burrows is in London and he joins us now. Mark, what has the reaction been there to news of this terrible attack this morning? Mark Burrows in London, thank you. Our government's response to the attack has been swift. Reporter Lauren Giannoli joins us now in Canberra. Lauren, we know that Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has sent sympathies to France from Australia. Yeah, really important advice. Lauren Giannoli, thank you. Islamic State has reportedly claimed responsibility for this attack in Nice. Security expert Neil Fergus joins us again now in the studio. Neil, the carnage absolutely appalling, seemingly by a lone wolf attacker targeting, soft target, people out celebrating, families on France's National Day. Could this sort of attack have been prevented?
It's extraordinarily difficult for the forces to prevent a lone actor in this type of environment.
Why is France such a target for terrorists?
Deb, France in a way is the antithesis of everything that al-Baghdadi and Daesh oppose in terms of egalitarianism, in terms of equity between genders, you know, that mantra about equality, fraternity and liberty. We are not immune out here, as was shown by the Lint Cafe and by Operation Pendennis and Operation Neath, where we have successfully detected and prevented terrorist attacks, and hopefully they will continue to do that. But there's no guarantee they can stop everything when we're facing this type of asymmetrical threat. Yeah,
it is called terror for a reason. Neil Fergus, thanks as always to get your insight.
Pleasure, Deb.
As Australia does reel from the news of the Bastille Day terror attack, Sydney-siders are beginning to gather in a show of solidarity with France. Let's cross live now to Nine's Airlie Walsh, who is at Circular Quay for us. And Airlie, a candlelight vigil is set to get underway there in a few hours.
Now, this afternoon we saw the French flag flying proudly and defiantly over the Sydney Harbour Bridge today, much like the flags fluttering in the background here tonight as well. Those in the French expat community and other members of the community have been invited to join here tonight from 7 p.m, where a candlelit vigil will be held here at Customs House at Circular Quay.
Similar vigils right across the country as well. Airlie Walsh in Sydney, thank you. A man and woman are recovering after being stabbed in Sydney's west. Emergency services were called to Layla Park just before 5 yesterday afternoon and rushed the pair to Westmead Hospital. The 39-year-old woman has since been discharged. The 34-year-old man remains in a stable condition. Police are reviewing CCTV footage and testing a blood-stained knife. Residents on Sydney's lower North Shore received a rude awakening early this morning, forced to evacuate in the cold after a water main burst. The Neutral Bay Street soon became flooded, blocking access and causing damage to the footpath. No properties were damaged. Still to come on Nine's Afternoon News, finance and the latest weather with Livinia Nixon. Lavinia, how's the weekend looking for us?
Well, Deb, things are mixed around the country. You'll need sunglasses if you're in Melbourne, Sydney, Hobart or Adelaide, but the umbrella is a better option for those in Brisbane and Perth. I'll have all the forecasts for you next.
Hello there, it's Jay Lane in the Goulston Legal Traffic Job as we get set to roll on into the weekend. Already quite busy at the moment for the Pacific Motorway outbound as you head on through Wollongabba all the way through to Greenslopes. Logan Road for the outbound directions looking very thick as well through Mount Gravatt. Pushing up onto the Pacific Motorway, you'll find that just as delay to southbound down towards the Gateway. When the worst does happen to you on our roads, wherever you are and whatever the circumstances, Goulston Legal is with you. No win, no fee, no problems. Google Goulston Legal. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.
Hello again. A high pressure system will drift over Victoria tomorrow, perfectly timed for some lovely weekend weather. South Australia and Tasmania will be stable under that high as well, with light winds and generally clear skies. It's a different story further north, where a deepening trough over Queensland is generating widespread areas of rain. In the next 24 hours, we're expecting very heavy falls for the central coast, extending inland. Rockhampton is right in line for the worst of it and can expect between 40 and 100 millimetres, with more to come over the weekend. Brisbane will just catch the edge of that system with 15 millimetres expected tomorrow, and from a low of 14 it should reach a rather soggy top of 20 degrees. A partly cloudy day for Sydney tomorrow and 17 degrees. After some morning fog, Melbourne will be mostly sunny and 15. It's going to be a little wild in Perth with strong winds and up to 25 millimetres in showers, 20 degrees. -3 to start the day in Canberra before a sunny top of 15 degrees. 15 for Hobart Hobart with a bit of cloud. A cold start in Adelaide, but then lots of sunshine and 15. Very cold air in Alice Springs, dipping to -2 overnight. And on Sunday, a few clouds about, but staying dry in Canberra, Sydney and Adelaide. Sunshine for Melbourne and Hobart. Deb.
Lavinia, thank you. A quick look at the finance figures for you now. The All Ords finished the day's trading in the black, up 18 points. And on the currency, one Aussie dollar was buying 76.29 US cents. That is Nine's afternoon news for this Friday. I'm Deborah Knight. Thanks for your company. Our next bulletin is at 6 o'clock. From the team, enjoy your evening.